This is when I need y'all to stay off the internet, stay off of Fragrantica, stay off of Parfumo. I need you to go outside. I need you to get your nose in this and I need you to smell it for yourself. I've been talking about this one 3 different occasions now, and I think I'm kind of ready to finalize my thoughts. I talked about it on OG. I talked about it in shorts. But yeah, let's talk about the hype that is going on with Lattafa's Asad Elixir. Yeah. This is everything wrong and right with the fragrance community. Stay tuned. I got some thoughts. Let's talk about it. Yo, what's going on, party people, fat boy family? I hope you guys are having an amazing day at the time that you're watching this. Feel free, hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, and while you're at it, go ahead and click the bell so you can be notified every single time I post new content to the channel. But let's go ahead. Let's not waste any time. Let's jump right into today's conversation. All right, so you guys know that the OG, the original Lattafa Asad, this is probably one of, if we did a recollection of probably the most top 10 viral fragrances ever, this would definitely be on the list. This was one of Lattafa's shining darlings, so to speak. Basically, for those of you who are just coming into fragrance and you don't know, most of you've probably seen the brand Dior in Macy's, Belk, wherever you shop, buy your fragrances, Sephora, Ulta, Nordstrom's, Dillard's, Neiman Marcus, Bloomingdale's, the gas station up the street. Nonetheless, Dior Sauvage, popular DNA, Dior Sauvage Elixir, basically takes that Dior Sauvage DNA and makes it oud and makes it spicy, more like peppery. All right. So a lot of people were in love with this fragrance. Me personally, I don't really care for the DNA. My favorite interpretation of the DNA is actually from Mont Blanc Explorer Extreme, who makes it very more wearable because they add some of that Absolute Aventus style DNA in there. To me, that is the best rendition, even though it is not a one-to-one. It is definitely a twist on the inspiration. Then we get notified. I think Red Lessons was the first person to actually talk about this. Lattafa comes out with Yara Elixir, which actually is nicer than I thought, that I've been getting some wear in as well. And we have the much anticipated Asad Elixir. All right. Elixir is this new fancy term that everybody's been throwing around. Elixir is not a concentration, so don't get duped. I think Elixir is just a fancy marketing thing where people are like, let's just make something new. Let's just make something fancy. Let's get people excited. Let's throw another faux concentration out there to make people think they're getting something brand new or whatever. Nonetheless, to me, elixirs are, you're supposed to take, elixirs should be reserved for fragrance lines that have like at least, I would say, 3 or 4 fragrances or flankers. And the elixir is supposed to be the best of all of those things. You take the best from each one and you create this new potion, this new elixir, this new flanker that represents the best and honestly should be the best from the line, point blank, period. Sometimes that's the case, sometimes it's not. But I know you didn't hear to come here to hear me rant about that. So I just wanted to give you the context so we can talk about this fragrance. So what do you get with this? On the 3 different occasions that I smelled this, the first time I smelled it, I was a little more sicker than I thought. I was coming off of something. I went to the store. If you ask me 1,000 times, Hair Depot Raleigh. I don't know how many times I got to say it. Hair Depot Raleigh. And when I smelled this, I was a little taken aback because I was like, this kind of gives me the OG, a little bit of that pepper, but then the dry down is a little bit sweet, but I was kind of underwhelmed. I was telling the boys, I was like, this ain't it. I'm a little disappointed. This is not what I thought it was. You know what I'm saying? All right. I go back a second day because I'm feeling a little bit better. Also, I was smelling all kind of stuff. And then when I smelled it again, I was like, now I get a little bit more of that whole ambery, woody, warm, spicy, tobacco style DNA that comes with what people say this is cloning, is more of that Boss Bottled Absolute. Now, in full transparency, you guys know I hate that fragrance. I hate it. I hate it. It's like Barnyard. Now, if you remember the live that I did in Sephora, I went back and smelled it for like the 15th time or whatever. And I said, okay, it's not as bad. I don't think it is the best designer that's been released this year. I don't know where y'all got that from, because a lot of you feel that way about that DNA. It's not as bad as I was making it out to be. Still comes off a little barnyardish, but I was like, oh, okay, the dry down is not as bad as, especially if you're a fan of amber. If you're a fan of woody, ambery fragrances, then you're probably gonna love that. Amber is like, depending on how you do it. I'm like, I'm kind of over it. It's this, that, and the third. It can also come off a little wet, like milky, almost kind of, which Boss Bottled Absolute kind of gives me that feel, which I don't really care for. And I got more of that Boss Bottled Absolute DNA still here in that, and I got less of, you know what I'm saying, the Asad. And so I'm the original Asad. And then I actually wore it. And I actually got a full wearing with it, you know, on skin, nothing else, making sure I was moisturized, no other oils, no nothing, just an unscented lotion. And then I was like, let's put this on. So from a longevity standpoint, I'll go ahead and talk about performance. I know I usually talk about presentation. We talk about profile. We talk about price. We talk about performance, whatever. I'm jumping around today because I just want to get straight to the point. Performance, it was okay. It is not the beast that the OG is. This is beastly. I mean, there are things that are stronger than this, but this, people will smell you. This is dialed back a little bit more. So as far as longevity, I got about 6 to 7 hours. I'm pretty sure I know what y'all gonna say. You gotta let it macerate. You gotta let it sit. I am so tired of letting things sit. I don't even want to have that conversation anymore. But nonetheless, take the longevity with a grain of salt or whatever. Sillage, scent bubble. I mean, it was cool. It was cool. Definitely probably within 2 to 3 feet reach. Really getting the scent bubble. I didn't really wear it out to the point where I was trying to get compliments or anything like that. I did feel like I was going to have to spray more of the elixir than I did of the OG if I really wanted to make a statement. All right. So I think if you are a heavy sprayer, you can be okay with this because it's less pepper. Like, I think with the original, that pepper is too much of it. If you like that kind of thing, because the original is strong, with this one, I think you can, you know, spray a little bit more in terms of the performance, the longevity, the projection. It's okay. It's not crazy. It's nothing to write home about, but I'm sure, as y'all will say, it'll get better, you know, and this time next year when we're talking about it, man, this junk been sitting. This is the greatest thing. Okay. All right. Whatever. In terms of presentation, I will say I do like the bottle. Like, this was cool, the whole black and gold thing, but something about this whole matte black feel with the silver. You guys know I'm a bottle whore. You know what I'm saying? So you got to add it to the collection. The only one I don't have is Zanzibar, and I'm probably just going to get it just to add to the collection, just to say I have them all. I hate Zanzibar. I hate that Coke. I hate the way they did the coconut in there. I just don't like it. But bourbon is still probably the best one out of all of them. Nonetheless, that's another conversation for another day. Now, in terms of the profile, again, I've already told you guys I really don't care for the profile, but I will tell you this. I know some of you want to see the atomizer because you're like, oh my God. So nothing special. So like I said, when you get it, you get the slightest. It is about 10% of the OG. I'll say 15. I'll say 15. I'll be nice. 15 to 20% of the OG. You get that pepper that Dior Sauvage Elixir is known for, that Asad is known for. You get that 10 to 15% pepper in that opening. And I think it's pink pepper. I don't think it's like a black pepper. I think it's pink pepper. That's it. That's it. Everything else, you get what is trying to be Boss Bottle Absolute. And even though I don't really care for Boss Bottle Absolute, I can admit this is not a replacement for Boss Bottle Absolute. Now, if you want something that's a hybrid, that's not bad, like I can sit here and say objectively, it's not bad. And I am guilty. Let me repent for a second. I am guilty of, I always get on you guys saying comparison is the thief of joy. I was comparing this to this. And so I told people, I'm like, if you have this, you don't need this. I got to put a caveat in that. If you're looking for another Sauvage DNA, don't get this. Stay right here. Stay right here, or get the Mont Blanc Explorer Extreme. That's the all black one, the Mont Blanc Explorer Extreme. If you're looking for Boss Bottle Absolute, get Boss Bottle Absolute. Get Boss Bottle Absolute. I think this is $50, like retail. I think this is $50 retail or whatever. This was a tester at the store. You know what I'm saying? You know how that goes. I think it's $50 retail. Honestly, if I'm not mistaken, I feel like Boss Bottle Absolute might be included in one of the Sephora or Ulta packs where you can get all the samples and then go get redeem it for a full bottle. I don't know. Don't hold me to that. Buy it on discounters is not that expensive. You want to buy right now? Get this. Save an extra check and then you can get the OG. But on its own, if I take this out of the picture, and let's say you're coming to my page for the first time and you're like, well, I'm hearing a lot about Lattafa Asad Elixir. What kind of fragrance is it? It's not a bad fragrance at all. It's not a profile that I really care for because, again, you have this slightly wet, milky, ambery, woody style, warm, spicy profile that is not something that I prefer to really wear. But I do know a lot of people that prefer that DNA. I can still be objective in saying, even though it's not necessarily a profile that I care that much about, it is a decent fragrance again. And I don't want to rob it of what it's supposed to be by comparing it to something else, because it doesn't smell like the original Asad. It doesn't really smell like Dior Sauvage Elixir. Like, you get the slightest bit of the hit there that comes from the pepper. And I think there's a Popanax here, or Olibanum, whatever, a Popanax, Olibanum. One of those like incensey, frankincense, spicy style notes that kind of make up the DNA you get there. One of those is here where you combine with the amber or whatever, but it is decent on its own. So I think that's the biggest thing. If you are looking for something on its own in the winter time, this is decent, and I believe that it's going to get better. If you are looking for a clone of Boss Bottled Absolute, this is okay. This is okay. It smells like Boss Bottled Absolute. It's not as strong. Like, Boss Bottled Absolute is a strong fragrance. This is not here yet. So if that has anything to do with maturation, tomato, potato, whatever, that could be the case. If you are looking for a flanker, a true flanker, something that is still in the ballpark of the original Asad, just stick with the original Asad. And that's pretty much what I have to say about that. All right, yeah, man. So I just really want to know, do you have it? Are you planning on getting it? What were your intentions? I think let's engage in the comments so I can see what your intentions are. Cause I know we've been talking on IG. I know we've been talking, some of you have left comments on the short or whatever, and you appreciate my honesty when it comes to the review. I try to be honest on both sides of the fence. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I still don't think it's worth the hype that it's definitely getting. Like, this joint, this is why I say ignore Fragrantica, because it's crazy highly rated. It's amazing to me how they rate things like this so high, but they'll trash other stuff. And I'll be like, that's why you don't pay attention to that stuff. Get your nose on it and smell it for yourself if you have the opportunity to do so. Like I said, just to be clear, this is definitely leaning more towards Boss Bottled Absolute. And if you like that style of DNA, that's what you're going to get. If you're looking for something that's still leaning towards the Asad that you fell in love with, you're not going to get that here. So I want to make that clear, but I appreciate you guys watching. Do me a favor, hit that like button, smash that subscribe button. And while you're at it, go ahead and click the bell so you can be notified every single time I post new content to the channel. But until next time, y'all be easy. I'll catch you guys in the next video.